Hello everyone and welcome to Yarnscrossing. My name is Biene and today we finally continue with our Loopy Loop Unicorn Pillowcase. In the last video I showed you how to make the front piece and how to crochet this back piece here. And in today's video I'll show you how we make the border of each piece and how we join the two pieces together. And at the end, how we make the closure down here. And if you're interested in that, then we'll get started now together. You will need your already crocheted back piece for today's video, and then we need also the front piece. We made that already in the last video. Additionally, we need our yarn that we used, so we continue to work with Lamia Fettuccine from Hobium Yarns or any other yarn you have used for your project. I still have yarn left over from my back piece and I had gotten 4 balls of white for this. So I will continue with these 2 balls that are left from the last pieces. And we need 2 balls because we are working our border in parallel again. And then we need a pair of scissors, a white thread, our crochet hook, and we continue to work with the 4.5mm. And then we need another sewing needle to sew our buttons on later. And of course 2 more buttons. Mine are already on the pillowcase now, but think them here. Let's get on with it then. So I'm going to show you the size relations to each other first. The 2 pillow pieces are now centered on each other. Remember, we crocheted the back part smaller because the front part is quite stable, whereas the back part is stretchy. But we will now crochet a nice border around it anyway and adjust the back piece to the front piece a bit more. We'll continue with the back piece first. So we've reached the back here and left the thread on at the top in our last video. So for the border we now go into the loop with our crochet hook, still a 4.5mm crochet hook, and we're going to chain 1 and then we turn our work. We're going to add a little variety to our stitch pattern up here now. We're going to work with single crochet and we're going to do the pike stitch with them. I like to call this stitch the window also because there are these cute windows that form between the single crochet. Normally you need an odd number of stitches for this stitch, but since we're crocheting our back piece here, we're not worried about that right now. If it pops, it's great, and if it doesn't, we'll do a single crochet extra. Don't stress about it. We have now worked 1 stitch here for the height, and now we need 1 more stitch to make a bridge, as a connection between the 2 single crochets. We now skip the next stitch and go into the stitch after that. Don't make the stitches too tight. Again, chain 1, skip 1, and into the stitch after it next. Chain 1, skip 1, and we now do this until the end of this row. This is what our edge looks like up now. And now back here I have an edge stitch left because we worked with an even number of stitches, but no problem. I'll just do another single crochet here at the edge. And for the corner we chain 2 now. And then we continue with the side here. Here at the edge we now have double crochets, so a chain 1 is not enough for the bridge. We now enter this large area with the single crochet. And over these side pieces here we chain 2. So chain 2 for the bridge and then jump with a single crochet into the next big space. Chain 2 into the next big space. And by doing this you get these sugar sweet arches here at the edge. And by doing this you are getting these sugar sweet arches here. We now continue like this until the end of the row. I now have our chain 2 here, and we now crochet our last single crochet here, chain 2 for the corner, and turn your work a little bit. And we'll continue with the bottom edge. Again, a single crochet here at the edge here. And now, just like on our top edge, chain 1, skip 1 into the next stitch, and so on until the end of this row. We have now reached the end again, so chain 1 and into the last hole here at the side. We're now going to crochet the end thread here on at the side at the same time. So chain 2 for the corner. So chain 2 for the corner and again into this edge stitch here with a single crochet. And now again the same game as on the opposite side. Chain 2 and into the next big space with a single crochet. We take this end thread with us and crochet around it. So chain 2 and a single crochet into the next big space, take the thread with you and crochet around it. And everything again until the end of the row. We have reached the end of the row again, and here's our last row with double crochets. So chain 2 and into the last big space here. Perfect. We now have our border still sitting on top here, so that was our first round. We do another chain 2 and go in with a single crochet up here as well. Very simple, isn't it? And now we have the complete first round done, and we'll do a second round now. I'm going to go into the second round here now, and I'm going backwards now. So we're doing a chain 1 and turn our work. We are now back to our side part again. We already made the one for the height, and now we're going back to the side as usual. So chain 2, but this time we put the single crochet on the other single crochet, so that we have bow sitting on bow. Again, chain 2 and into the single crochet. We have bow over bow. And that's how we do that until the end of this row again. We are back at the edge. We need our last bow here now, so chain 2 and we're going into the single crochet, and now we will increase our corner. So we also make 2 solid stitches, so 2 single crochets into the same stitch to make the corner a little bit bigger and increase it. So 1 single crochet and another single crochet. And now we do our chain 2, turn your work a little bit and do another 2 single crochets into this stitch here at the edge. 1 and 2. So that is the beginning of the other side here. Here at the edge we have another single crochet. As you can see, there are the arches and there are the single crochets. And then we are doing a chain 1 and going into the single crochet. Another chain 1 and into the single crochet. And just continue until you reach the end of this row. And that is again the end of this row. We have now our last pike stitch here at the edge. So chain 1 and we skip the bow, go into the single crochet, and here at the edge we have our chain 2 corner. So we're doing 2 single crochets in here. That was a double crochet, my fault. Chain 2 and into the same stitch 2 single crochets. That looks beautiful. Really, really gorgeous. I like it. And now we are at the side part with the large bows. So we are looking at it. So we have there the arches or the bows, and here is a single crochet. So we have to go with a single crochet on top of the single crochet, chain 2, skip the bow, into the single crochet with a single crochet, another chain 2, make your bow, and go into the single crochet on this side. That's how we're going to do that. Chain 2, do your bow, and into the single crochet with a single crochet up until the end. So we have our last bow here, so chain 2, go into the single crochet with a single crochet. There's our chain 2 for our edge, for our corner, and we're doing 2 single crochets into here for increasing our corner. Then chain 2 and into the same stitch another 2 single crochets. Perfect. And now we have our small windows or pike stitches or bows, how you want to call it. So there's another single crochet. So 1 single crochet. And there is another single crochet, don't miss it. Chain 1, you've made your pike stitch, and into the single crochet with a single crochet. Chain 1, into the single crochet with a single crochet. And repeat that all the way down the row. We have reached the end now, so there's the last pike stitch. Chain 1 into the single crochet, not into the window, into the single crochet. And this corner I will close it only with single crochets. So 1 single crochet into the last stitch here. And now into the chain 2 space, I will do 2 single crochets as well to secure everything. So 1 and 2. And that was the border of our back part. So let's see how the two pieces look in relation to each other. Wow, that looks perfect. The back part would be now finished for me, and I will make another border on the front part now, so that we can join it very beautifully together. If the two parts still don't fit well enough for you on each other, then you can make another round. But keep in mind that the back part is stretchy, so you have a bit of a play here. So keep that in mind. I'll just make another chain 1 here, and then we have to cut our thread. We leave a long enough tail to sew in later. Cut it off and pull it through and snug that down to secure. So the back piece is finished. Perfect. And now we're going on to the front part. I'm going to make the white border with the loop stitch up facing me, so I can see these knots here better. We just make our first loop in white now. So make a chain stitch and get your front piece into the first stitch, pull the yarn to the front and make a single crochet. And now we'll do the same pattern as we did it for the back piece. So we will chain 1 and skip a stitch, and we'll go into the second one. I will show you. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch and go into the next one. We're creating another pike stitch here. And another chain 1, skip 1, go into the next one. Once again, chain 1, skip 1, into the next one. And we will do that the whole row down until we meet us at the end. We reached the end now. For me, the pattern just fit very well, so I have a last chain 1 and go into the last stitch here. If you have an extra stitch here left, no issue or problem, just do another single crochet. So for the corner we do another chain 2, and we take only those 2 chain stitches to get around the corner. We don't want to increase it. So turn your work a little bit and we're going on to the side part. Just drag the loops down so you can see everything. We have our chain 2 here for the corner, and I will go into this stitch here above to secure everything with a single crochet. And how do we move on? We will always skip the loop stitches, so don't into the loop stitches, but into the stitches below the single crochet row. The loop stitch counts for the height as a chain 1, so we're going over the loop stitches into the single crochet row down here. So we are doing a chain 1, skip the loop stitches and go into the row of single crochets between the loop stitches. Hope you can see that. Build your single crochet and go on. Chain 1, skip the loop stitches into the single crochet row. Single crochet. And do this until the end of this side part. I'll meet you at the end. So pause the video and I'll see you again in a moment. And we've reached the end again. We have here our last knot at the corner now, so one last time chain 1 and into this last stitch here with a single crochet, and we're back in the bottom here at our corner. So we are doing a chain 2 and going into the same stitch with a single crochet. And then, as usual, as before, we will do a chain 1, skip 1 and go into the next one. So chain 1, skip 1 and into the next stitch, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, into the next stitch with a single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, into the next stitch, all the way down. Just pause the video and we'll see us at the next corner. And we are back at the corner again. I have here another stitch to make, so I'll put a single crochet in here. And now we are doing our chain 2 and another single crochet into the same stitch. And then we are back in our side part again. We have our loop rows here again. We have there the loop stitches, the loop rows, and below the single crochet rows. So we chain 1 and we skip the loop row and go into the single crochet row. And again chain 1, skip the loop stitches, go into the single crochet row with a single crochet, and chain 1, skip the loop stitches again and go into the row of single crochets. The same game as usual on the whole side until we meet at the end. Just pause the video here. And arrived at the end. So we have a few stitches here, a single crochet and our last stitch here. So chain 1 into the last stitch here at the corner, and I close the corner with making a chain 2, and I'll go into the first single crochet here to secure everything, and I will make a slip stitch here. Chain 1 again, and then we are ready to cut our yarn. Pull everything through, snag that down to secure, and we have finished our front piece. So border done. And now we just have to crochet the two parts together, and I will show you how exactly. But now you have to make a decision for that. Either you want the loops to hang down a little bit more, then we leave the yellow open here at the bottom, or you want the loops to stick out a bit, then we'll turn the whole thing around. And then we have to leave the pink side open at the bottom here. Then your loops will stick out a bit more, but that will hang out a bit as well as we go along. So just decide which color you want at the top. With pink stays on top, that means, so I will start at the yellow corner here, and I will go at the side part along to pink, over the pink side, down there again till I reach yellow again. And the yellow side will be opened completely because we will make then the closure at the end. Well, our front piece is looking at us, so the loops look at us upwards, and we put our back part on it now. We have to make sure that our loops stay in here now, because of course we will turn everything at the other side. Our end threads can hang out here, and you can either shorten the end threads here or you can crochet them into the side part. You can decide freely. They will be on the inside later and won't interfere here. I will start at the right corner. In my case, it's yellow. So we put stitch on stitch, so corner onto corner. I take our white thread again, and I will use only one thread at this time. If that's not enough for you, you can take 2 balls in parallel again, and we do our first stitch here. So do your chain 1, grab your pieces, corner onto corner, and we will go through these edge stitches here and crochet everything together with just single crochets. So grab your yarn, pull it to the front and make your single crochet. And for crocheting together, we will now just see where we can get through best. So no stitch counting, but just by feeling. You decide where a stitch is still missing to close and where it goes on. You just have to make sure that the 2 pieces sit nicely on top of each other and that no loop sticks out at the side part. So otherwise it's annoying when you will turn your pillowcase inside out. So just keep going with single crochets at this side here. And I always try to catch the 2 stitch links from one side and also take 2 stitch links on the other side. And that's what we're doing now up to the corner at the top. While crocheting the 2 parts together, also lay them down time by time so that you can see if everything sits on top of each other. And if you see there's a part a little too short or too long, then you can always see if you have to stretch a part a little or pull it together a little so that it then fits towards the corner at the top. We've reached the top of the corner here now, and we'll just continue crocheting around the corner with single crochets. So no chain 1 or 2, just single crochets into this last stitch here at the corner. Feel free to make a few more there to secure everything so that then everything sits tightly on top of each other. And that's how we'll form our nice tight corner. And we'll just continue crocheting up here at this side now. We still have our end thread here from our border here, and I'll shorten it a bit and I will crochet it in while we're working at the top part here. So grab your scissors, shorten it a little bit and then keep going. So make sure that you leave your loops inside and don't crochet them in. So we continue now. I've already shown you here how we made the corner, and we'll do the same on the other side later. If you find the back piece is a little tight, just pull it apart a little bit while you crochet and go through the 2 pillow pieces so that we really end up with corner on corner here. So you do your single crochets just all the way down here to the corner, just around the corner, and on the side way down exactly the same, only single crochets, and then I will meet you when we're back at our yellow color. I will do that off camera, just pause the video, you will do that perfect. I've reached the end down here now, and we're going to do some single crochets more to secure everything. Then just do a chain 1 and we're done. Just cut your thread and pull it through. And then we weave the edge thread then quickly into the side part a little. Just grab your hook and pull the thread through all the stitches at the side. Weave it a little bit up and down here to secure everything. And here I go with the thread now briefly through this lower single crochet stitch so that everything holds securely. And then our pieces are crocheted together. Now we have to turn it inside out. So just do that. Wow, look at that fuzzy monster. It looks just beautiful. I'm so happy. Just turn the corners out very nicely. Just poke your hand in here and flip it inside out. And now we just have to do our closure down here. So to make our closure, we will sew on 2 buttons right at these points here. So you have to make thirds of your button edge and then put 2 buttons on here. And I will grab a thread and a needle and just sew on these buttons off camera. So that's how the pillowcase looks so far. The buttons are sewn on at the bottom here. And to make the closure complete, we now have to make some small loops at the bottom here, so that we can pull the buttons through later. And we do that with chain stitches. If your pillow fits into the cover perfectly like mine, then you can do it without your pillow inside. If your pillow sits there very plump, I think it's better to put the pillow into the pillowcase so you can see how big you have to make your loops. We continue crocheting with the 4.5mm crochet hook, and I take the threads now again parallel, so 2 threads at the same time so that our chain stitches already become very stable. So make your first chain, and now we have to look at which position the loop has to sit. We'll look on which position the button sits, so we must not make our loop too wide now, otherwise the button will slip through very easily. So we just go over with a single crochet with our chain stitches. I will show you. You have your spaces here, so between the single crochets, and we're going with our hook through one of these spaces. Grab your loop, pull it through, and just make a chain 1 to secure it. So we are chaining 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. So let's see how big the bow is already. So that should be almost enough, I think. Yes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I will make 1 in addition, so 6 chain stitches, and you're going over your single crochet into the next space and secure everything with another single crochet. Just skip 1 single crochet, not more. And now we're doing another single crochet to secure everything even more. So just chain 1, Then cut your thread and pull everything through. So the first part of our closure is completed. We have our first bow here. That sits perfect. Cute. There's a little bit of space here for our pillow, but it's not too loose, I think. So we have 6 chain stitches here. And with the other side, we're doing exactly the same thing. So chain 1, cut your thread, pull it through, and we're finally done with this part. Of course, you still have to weave in the threads here, but I will do that off camera. Everything is sewn or woven in, the loops fits perfectly onto the buttons, and now it's time to put in our pillow into the pillowcase and see how everything fits. So we have these little openings here, but I really like that, it's cute. And with all of it, we would be done with our pillowcase now. I think it just looks so beautiful. I can't wait to snuggle my face in there. Oh god, it's so fuzzy and I love it. Those colors are so gorgeous. I fade you also now still a photo of it here as it looks then finished on the sofa. Wow, I'm so excited and so happy, and the colors are just adorable. I hope you had fun with the video and it was all understandable for you, and if you have any questions then feel free to ask me. I would be happy if you make the reference after and link me then simply. On Instagram I also make a hashtag and I will fade them here in briefly. So the hashtag is Loopy Loop Unicorn Pillowcase or just simple LLUPC. And if you like the video, subscribe to the channel and for more exciting videos. And otherwise I would just say keep your yarns crossing and have fun with your projects.